Hey guys, Z here. Faye sure has been in a chaotic state as of late, huh? The last few weeks have definitely had everyone all over the place due to recent changes, but if you thought it couldn't get any worse than that, well, I can only hope you're right about it. It's nearing the end of January, which means we're coming up on another Choose Your Legends event. In a couple of weeks, Faye will officially turn 9 years old, which makes me feel incredibly old. But it's also the 10th Choose Your Legends event, which is pretty cool and scary and frightening and synonyms for both scary and frightening. Surely it won't go crazy, right? Last time we had male Byleth, Eikthenir, Baldur, and Shayne as our Choose Your Legends winners, and looking back on it, it was fine, yeah. I think around the time I was pretty content with the winners, but there really wasn't anything super exciting per se, to me at least. Not that any of the winners were bad, of course. Each of the options were pretty cool in their own right. I think my enjoyment really showed up once we got the units in the game because they introduced new gimmicks and fodder and stuff, and it was pretty cool. I find that to be the most exciting part about Choose Your Legends. Personally, I don't think there's been a notable Choose Your Legends candidate that I've been super invested in a long time. Most of the time it's just voting for favorites and whatever else, but I wouldn't say that it makes Choose Your Legends stuff unenjoyable on the whole. Seeing all the potential winners for the event and the campaigning and stuff is pretty fun, but with this upcoming event, I think Choose Your Legends 10 could end up being really good in the end. Or really absurd, depending on who you ask. Besides the Choose Your Legends 9 winners, there were a bunch of runner-ups including Sigurd, Formodus, Sylvain of all characters, as well as Azura, Ivy, and Tsubasa. A lot of notable characters that people want to see win Choose Your Legends. It's gonna be a rough event, man. There are others from 6th place and beyond, but these were the 3 with the most votes following the winners, and I don't know if anyone else can catch up this time around. I could definitely be off the mark with that though, especially if the previous winners' voters do move to them. And speaking of which, with Byleth, Eikthenir, Baldur, and Shayne out of the running, their voters have to go somewhere, right? It's hard to say where most of them will go, but there's a strong possibility that the Byleth voters will go straight to Sylvain this time around. If there's one thing Three Houses voters are really good at, it's coordinating. They really know how to get characters they want all the way up to 1st or 2nd place. It's why we really haven't had a Choose Your Legends event without a Three Houses winner ever since the game came out, besides Choose Your Legends 7. And even then, that was really close because Bernadetta was right behind Corrin. I think it was barely above 100 votes or something. It was wild. But yeah, it makes most sense considering the current state of Three Houses candidates. Also, considering Sylvain jumped all the way to 5th place last time, I think it's pretty likely that he's going to take one of the top spots. The competition just isn't nearly as stiff as last time too, which is definitely helping him out here. Similarly, we did have Formodus jump all the way to 4th place, but that was also the first time he was votable in Choose Your Legends. Before then, he wasn't eligible for whatever reason, and with the then recent winter version he got, it made a lot of sense that he would get all the way up to 4th place. That being said, I don't see how he keeps up the momentum this Choose Your Legends. There really isn't anything specific with Formodus pushing him up there like last time besides being really cool and awesome, and synonyms for both cool and awesome. Of course, that shouldn't discourage people from voting for him, but it really did feel like a large portion of his votes were because of those 2 factors specifically. Unfortunately, it was also just a tough year for males in general between Eikthenir, Byleth, and Sigurd. I think the only guaranteed character from the runner-ups to win Choose Your Legends will be Sigurd, but even saying that it's guaranteed feels wrong. He's currently the male with the most votes in his division, and he's consistently placed that high. However, it's probably a mistake to assume he'll win because of that, especially if his voters get too comfortable and don't vote for him as a result. I've definitely assumed stuff like this in the past on the basis of it being a safe prediction, and it turning out to be entirely wrong in the end. Mostly with Engage, but still. Also, I underestimated Shayne last time, and she ended up winning in the end, so, yeah. Maybe the same thing can happen with Formodus even now, but it's really hard to say. Maybe the Eikthenir voters will go straight to Formodus after, but I really have no idea where any of the Eikthenir, Baldur, and Shayne voters will go entirely. The Shayne voters could go to Anna potentially, but that's about it, and even then, I'm not sure if that many of them will go over to Anna, assuming they even care that much about her over the other options at this point. It really is a toss-up, although they could technically jump to the new OC. You remember her, right? It's Fimble Veter from the very awesome Book 10 story. We didn't account for her in this event yet. Actually, do people even care enough about her? I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I've seen any fanfare around this OC whatsoever. She kind of just dropped with the new book and then disappeared after, which normally that wouldn't be that big of an issue. However, a lot of the OC winners had some sort of fanfare about them around the time. Gullveig had a couple lines at the beginning of the book and a design that appealed to enough people to the point where she would end up taking first place, beating out both female Corin and Bernadetta, which is kinda crazy. I actually don't know how much of her popularity holds up currently, but it was good enough for her to get the win at least. That being said, I think Eikthenir had the most fanfare of the OCs and it wasn't even close. A lot of people went crazy over this dude. Honestly, who can blame them? It was even funnier in his case because we had no idea who this dude was for like 7 or 8 months. He wouldn't get any sort of appearance until July of that book. Everyone saw the promotional art for book 8 and went crazy over like 50 pixels. And then it got even crazier when we saw his official art and stuff, to the point where he would beat out Byleth in the last event. People really love this dude. And Baldur, I actually don't remember as much hype around, but she was pretty cool, yeah. She did win in the end, so she definitely appealed to people, that's for sure. I don't know if Fimble Veter has the same appeal going on or not, which makes me wonder if she's even worth putting in the discussion of plausible winners. It could be a lot of silent voters though, so I don't want to completely write it off. Her design is also pretty cool. That wasn't a pun. The special art especially goes really tough. I could see people voting for her just because of that. Still, I think it's fair to say that a lot of people's focus is going to be on Azura, Ivy, and Tsubasa this time around, especially since there's so much more of an emphasis on this Choose Your Legends event than arguably most other events of their time. Normally, Choose Your Legends would just follow the same trickle-down effect of characters that would eventually win will get their victory a year or two after because of their competition just getting voted out. It's happened a fair bit with all sorts of characters since many of the popular options are no longer votable. However, in the case of Azura, Ivy, and Tsubasa, there's a bit of an elephant in the room that needs to be addressed. Specifically the Fortune's Weave elephant, because yep, that sure is coming out this year. Fortune's Weave, aka 3 Houses 2, or I guess 3 Houses 3 because 3 Hopes exists. The game that a lot of people are looking forward to, and I think it's fair to assume that if it meets expectations, then it's going to be the new title that keeps 3 Houses discourse going on for the following decade. And realistically, a lot of them are probably going to end up sweeping Choose Your Legends for the foreseeable future because it's 3 Houses, unless the game just outright flops and everybody hates it. I can't see how it doesn't become a roadblock for other characters for at least another year or two. And that's what makes it really unfortunate because no matter what, one of them is going to get booted out for it. This Choose Your Legends event is going to have way higher stakes as a result. I think between the male and female division, the latter is going to be way more divisive this time around and where everything breaks loose as opposed to the male division last time. A lot of people are riding on each of them to win, and I don't see how some people don't leave very upset in the end. I think that's pretty unfortunate. However, there's definitely one outcome that would be the most ideal for everyone in the end, allowing for every single voter to get what they want. It's Fortune's Weave getting delayed to 2027. Now, I don't want the game to get delayed, of course. I really want a new Fire Emblem game to play at this point, and the trailer alone already has me excited for it. But let's be real, if it did get delayed, then all of these runner-ups would get their Brave Vault within 2 years, and that would make everyone happy in the end. Okay, maybe not everyone, but more than it would probably be otherwise. I know 3 Houses got delayed originally, but I don't remember by how much, although the chances of that even happening here are pretty low, I'd imagine. The game also supposedly had the release date leaked, but I don't know how accurate that is. I'd also rather not assume it's legitimate just in case, so I'll refrain from mentioning it further. Still, if every runner-up could get their Brave Vault within 2 years, I think that would be pretty swell. Okay, now back to the reality where someone loses for the foreseeable future. This is where the scary and frightening and synonyms for both scary and frightening come into play. Azura, Ivy, and Tsubasa is definitely a disaster waiting to happen. As it currently stands, Azura has the most votes, followed by Ivy and Tsubasa respectively. However, the fact that Tsubasa is even in the running, even beating out Yunaka last year, tells me it's not going to be that straightforward. I can see so many people piling on Tsubasa this time around because she has a really strong chance at winning Choose Your Legends this year. Between people actually wanting more Tokyo Mirage Sessions content in Fae to those wanting to force IS's hand, the competition is going to be stiff. Tsubasa winning would be hilarious because it probably would cost them way more to make a Tokyo Mirage Sessions unit than most other characters. They'd probably have to spend extra to get the licensing for it since it's also owned under Atlas, but boo-hoo. This is the same company that removed Tempest trial units to save money, so forcing them to spend even more money to bring her voice actor into the studio to record a Brave Tsubasa alt would be amazing. I don't actually know how much it cost them, but still. A timeline where Tokyo Mirage Sessions gets a Choose Your Legends rep before Thracio or Engage would be so funny. But ideally, and for everyone's sake, mostly mine, it'd probably be better if both TMS and Engage got a rep this time because it'd be their first. I honestly feel kinda bad that Engage hasn't gotten a winner yet, especially since the competition they've had to face is so much smaller compared to any other CYL event. I'm still surprised they couldn't get one winner last time. That said, it might be more in their favor this time, probably, maybe, I don't know. Azura did recently get an ult with the alien banner, but I genuinely don't think it will affect her that much, if at all. Ivy last month also got a winter ult, so by that logic, both of them would be affected negatively, but I can't see how that'll even be the case. There just isn't nearly as much competition going against them nowadays. Even if accounting for Yunaka, she also got an ult recently, so it feels like it just balances out. That, and I can't see how an Azura or Ivy fan just won't vote for them because of it. I actually don't know any instance where a character outright lost to Choose Your Legends event because of a recent ult. Maybe Erica during Choose Your Legends 3, if that even counts, but that's just its own can of worms because of the Camilla ult spam. I feel like it's more often the opposite, where a character not getting content leads to them winning Choose Your Legends. You know, like Lysithea, Marianne, Seliph, Sharena, etc. That feels way more frequent. And considering now that there's just way less options to vote for at the moment, I just can't imagine they'll be affected that much. Really, it makes me wonder if Tsubasa voters will even lock in and get her one of the two winning slots. A lot of people really want Azura and Ivy to win, so I think it's a matter of whether people really rally enough for Tsubasa. I think it's what got her to 5th place last time too, so it's definitely possible. Also, I'm not gonna lie, the Azura Tsubasa CYL combo would be really fitting. Regardless, it's not going to be smooth sailing for any of them. One of them is going to lose, and that probably won't end well. I don't really want to see any of them lose, to be quite H, since so many people want them to win. In an ideal world, everyone would get their winner, but this isn't an ideal world. It's a foresight snare world, and someone is going to suffer for it. It's going to be a really messy Choose Your Legends. Meanwhile, Sigurd, Formodus, and Sylvain are just chillin'. The male division definitely doesn't feel as bad this year, but yeah, that sure is Choose Your Legends 10, ain't it? Last time I said I'd give a vote to any character based on the comment with the most amount of likes. I think last time it was Itsuki, and part of me wonders if it's a good idea to do that again. Let's do it again anyway. Same deal as last time, the comment with the most likes will get a vote for the character of their choice, but you gotta be subscribed. That's the deal. If you're not, I'll know. Anywho, we got a long event ahead of us, and I've never been so scared in my life. But I'm also kinda hyped about it too. I think for me, whatever we get in the end will be pretty fun since 3rd through 5th place has a lot of cool options, but who are you planning to vote for? Tsubasa? Formodus? Other characters that aren't Tsubasa or Formodus? Let me know down below, and until next time, I'll see you when the Fortunes Weave main characters win Choose Your Legends 11.
Weep.